Welcome to the It's Too Easy podcast. We are back with an episode, go through a little bit of NBA trade talk after all the buzz that's been happening this week, talk maybe Super Bowl briefly, and kind of go from there. So, Jake, get us off. Where we heading first?
Yeah, so let's talk some NBA trades first. Obviously, the one that everybody's talking about the most is Luca to the Lakers. Then we saw the AD and Max Christie, and I believe a second round pick was dealt to the Mavs. Probably the worst and most unexpected trade in NBA history. For me personally, I just don't know how you would trade a 25-year-old Luca who may be a little bit overweight, but he just had his first child. Like, give the guy a break. And honestly, I just think that Mavs made a huge mistake here. He just has his whole career in front of him, and the Lakers now have something to build around for the next 10 years, which is pretty much the last thing that anybody, I think, really wants if you're a fan that's not a Laker fan. But at the end of the day, I think the Lakers got a great deal. I think Rob Pelinka probably swindled Nico Harrison or whatever the dude's name is into saying, yeah, Luka's not in shape. Yeah, he's not playing well. Like, just give him to us. We'll give you AD. We'll give you Max Christie. He tried to make it sound sweet, and honestly, it's probably going to turn into one of the worst trades in NBA history. We're talking about a Mavs team here that made it to the finals last year. Luka had a game last year where he had scored 72 points. So it's not like we're just talking about any or normal player. This is Luka Doncic. He's one of two players to ever have 27, 7 and 7, or 28, 7 and 7 average throughout his career. The other one being LeBron James. So personally, I just don't really know kind of what the Mavericks were thinking with that. I just think that GM probably by the end of next year will be gone if they don't make it deep in the playoffs again. Now Kyrie might be able to will him there with AD. I'm sure that's going to be a pretty cool combo to watch. But I just don't know if those two by themselves. Like, I don't know if Klay Thompson and some of the other guys on that team are really going to be able to put it together with those older guys. So we'll see. But I do think the Lakers got a great deal in the trade. I do like where they stand getting Luka. I feel like Luka and LeBron are going to play really well off each other. LeBron's older now, so he doesn't even really care about scoring really anymore. So if you can find Luka, like, it's going to be game over. So it's just going to be all about the synergy I think they build. And personally, I just love it for the Lakers, but hate it as a Kings fan. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely an interesting trade. I think Adam Silver or something might have had a call there. I'm not too sure. Like,
Yeah.
the ratings are down and everything, so they're trying to find a way to bring it back. And I think that's in part, Lakers have to be good, and they were finally starting to piece it together with the team that they had and the health that they had coming back. 8-2 in the last 10 games, up to the fifth seed. I think only 2 games back of the three. So it's interesting timing for that to happen. Um, yeah, interesting to say the least. They could have gotten a lot more out of Luca. So
Yeah.
long term, obviously, I think it's going to be an idiotic move. Now, from Nico's standpoint, if I was the GM, I think I would have done the exact same thing. Granted, I would have gotten 3 first round picks with it.
Yeah.
However, just getting AD straight up, I think that's a perfect pairing. I mean, when we saw the Lakers win, when we saw the Pelicans make a deep run, it was Rajon, and then you had AD with Decuz, and then you had AD with Dwight Howard and JaVale. And I think it's good for them to have two bigs next to AD to have a chance at winning it all. And they still kept that by keeping both Lively and Gafford. Lively,
Yeah.
obviously, only in his second year, is a lot younger. Gafford's still only, I think, 27. So he's got a lot of defensive presence as well, being able to block shots. And then obviously Kyrie's won it and done it, and AD's won it,
Yeah.
done it. Clay's done it 4 times. So I mean, they definitely have the experience now being there. PJ Washington's still been a baller, so I think they got um, the right pieces to have a chance to win for the next couple years. Um, Obviously, nothing down the line. You just gave up 10 years of future
Yeah.
for maybe 4 or 5 of AD, and that's if Kyrie stays 2 years from now. So, we'll see how it plays out for them if they win one in the next year or two. It's not going to be so idiotic, but 10 years from now, it might not. Just a random stat that I was looking at this week: only 6 GMs in the NBA have been with their team for longer than 6 years. So I actually, from his perspective, Nico's, I love it. Like, if I was the GM, I
Yeah.
would have done that. I would have been like, no, I'm not promised, a future 10 years from now. So I don't give a crap about the team 10 years from now. I am here right now, and I want to keep my job and show that I know how to put a team together to win. And my future is 3 to 4 years from now, like you said. And I love that personally. I think they do have a chance to win it. I think they're probably the favorites to win the West, which is 22 to 1 right now, 41 to 1 to win it all. So I definitely like that. They won it last year. They have the experience. Great defensive team, as Nico was kind of getting at. The thing that worries me is Luka's the one that carried them to the finals.
Yeah.
And he also did it with the Western Conference Finals a couple years before. So not having that is going to be different. But again, Kyrie's been there, Clay's been there, AD's been there. So I like the pieces that they have. I don't know if it's going to work because Luka's the one that dragged them all the way there when they probably shouldn't have been. But if they can get there, I think that they definitely have a good team and a chance to win it. On the other side, the Lakers now have 10 years of future ticket sales and someone to look at in the face of the league, and that'll continue to make the league better. When the Lakers are good, the Knicks are good. The league's in good hands, and that continues that. For the Lakers, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. I'm sure that Luka and LeBron will figure it out, but that just doesn't make any sense to me. What the Lakers were missing was a big, and now their biggest guy they got rid of. So now they're missing really 2 to 3 bigs.
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes is going to go in there. My guy wasn't even playing off the bench with much at all until
Yeah.
recent. So they're definitely going to need to fill that void if they're going to have a chance at winning. Um, we saw it with the Mavs that Luke was able to carry him there, and then he was exhausted by the end of it, and very much so. He could carry them there, and LeBron could get him over the hump. But they definitely need to add a big in order to make that a realistic possibility. The Mavs were already the team that took out the Thunder last year, and they have wiped the Thunder all year this year, even though the Thunder are the 1 seed. So if you're looking at like a 1 seed to come out or someone to come out the West, I do like that Mavs play just because they're the team that consistently beats the Thunder. The Nuggets obviously need some depth. The Lakers are going to need some other pieces. They have no future. I mean, they only had 2 picks to begin with. Now it's
Yeah.
going to be Luca, and so in my opinion, they should now trade LeBron. It makes the most sense to trade LeBron, in my opinion, to the Cavs. Go get Evan Mobley and 3 firsts. Try and get yourself a little bit of a future back and a young piece in a big to pair next to Luca. They're not going to do that. LeBron would have to approve of a trade. If he did, I think it would be to Cleveland or maybe to play with Steph. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to stay in LA. So hopefully Luca and LeBron can figure something out. It would be fun to see them end up working out and even win a chip.
If LeBron
But
somehow managed to end up in Miami again, I would love that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think watching him with Hero and Bam and that squad would be super fun.
yeah. Kalowar's
But
been really good too as of late. Now that he's been getting starting minutes, and he's actually the favorite to win Rookie of the Year now, and he's a beast. So yeah, that would be fun. I don't think he will go back to Miami. I don't think he has any interest in doing so. It's LA or maybe to play with Steph, but again, I think that would be in LA, and that doesn't make sense with Luca also now. So don't see LeBron going anywhere. Interested to see if they make it work, and then got to be on the lookout to see if they make a trade in the next 2 days to add that big. I know that Miles Turner was in the talks with that, so interested to see if the Pacers give him up. He is on his last year of his deal, so I don't think they would give up too much.
yeah.
But they only have a 2031 first to give up there to give up the rest of their future. LeBron's only got 2 years. So, in my opinion, they should trade him, get 3 firsts out of him, and maybe a Mobley or something to try and build towards the future rather than going all in on 1 or maybe a year and a half with LeBron.
Yeah, no, I just think in terms of making money for the organization, they'll never trade LeBron out of LA for now. But personally, I just think for me, looking at this Mavs team now, like I see this as they're either gonna like just hammer teams or they're gonna get crushed. Like they're either the games are gonna be they're gonna be really good and they're gonna crush teams or they're going to get crushed. I see a lot of like either they're gonna be on or off. Like and that's just how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kyrie and AD are probably gonna be taking like 40 shots a game.
Well,
So
I
it's
don't think
gonna
so.
be
Because AD getting back to the four means he's going to be shooting threes, which he did a lot of when they won the chip, which also
yeah.
means that the floor is going to be able to be spaced more, which means Clay should have more open looks. So I like that aspect to it. I think that they
It
will
might be
space it more.
spaced more, but then you got 80 at the four, so you got two more big dudes on the floor. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like I think they're going to have to do that in order to get Kyrie some room to get to the rack. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I just think that for the long term future, the Lakers are going to be good with Luca no matter what. Like the
Hmm.
Mavs were able to put whatever around Luca basically until they got Kyrie and
Yeah.
brought him to help bring him to the finals.
Well, to be
But
fair,
they were
they
a
had
playoff team.
Brunson and Porzingis, but that
Yeah,
was before they got to
and
take him
looking at
out.
it right
So
now, the Lakers are like 3 or 4 games ahead of them too. So put a big in there with them, an experienced big to kind of teach Jackson Hayes how to play, so he
Yeah.
can be good in the next few years. I think they're going to be a-okay. Find a point guard that can run the point like efficiently, like maybe, and find
I
a
mean,
trade for
Luca and LeBron
somebody, maybe a
both
Trey
take it up,
Young,
so
maybe Trey Young trade somewhere in there to the
too many guys
Lakers or
that need the
something.
ball.
Yeah, I mean there will be that, but I mean you could also argue that on the Mavs right now. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like I think it's going to be fun to see kind of how things develop because there's going to be a lot of I think a lot of synergy that has to develop in those teams now because these are two star players and obviously they're going to want the ball a lot. So it's just going to change the dynamics of the team overall a lot, and it may take a few games for them to get fit. The next trade that we really wanted to talk about was Fox. De'Aaron Fox got traded to the Spurs. In that trade, Zach LaVine got sent back to Sacramento. The Kings got 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. I think Kevin Herter and Jordan McLaughlin ended up going to Chicago, or maybe Jordan McLaughlin
Off
also went
into
to
the
San
Spurs.
Antonio. But Kevin Herter and maybe someone else got dealt to Chicago.
Jalen Hood
Um,
Schifino, I think was who it was.
yeah,
Yeah, from the Lakers.
um, but anyways, I think Zach dealing with the Kings first. Like obviously, De'Aaron's agent, and he didn't extend in the preseason, so he kind of had the thought that he was gonna explore his options. And I think the Kings did a really good job in this trade. I think they got the most out of it that they could before he became a free agent. Getting Zach LaVine's a huge win because he's kind of wanted to come here, and now that we were able to get DeRozan here, it just gives him another outlet to be like, yeah, I want to go play with DeMar again. He's one of the best in the NBA. DeMar's had an incredible year with the Kings. Like I don't think anybody was expecting him to play this well. I think they're gonna definitely be a playoff team somewhere, as long as they continue to play well. And I think that Zach LaVine's actually going to be a pretty seamless fit into the Kings offense. They're gonna have Monk, LaVine, Keegan Murray, DeRozan, and Sabonis. I feel like that's a pretty scary starting five. And they can pretty much play whatever way they want. If they want to play quick with Malik on the point, they can do that. If they want to slow things down and let DeMar take a 24-second shot clock and just do his thing, they can do that. And all in the midst of that, Sabonis is going to be getting all the assists, all the rebounds, still finding ways to score. And then you're going to have, Keegan Murray, who's just a developing star, I think. Give him 1 or 2 more years if he can get some more confidence under his belt. He got a ton of confidence from Fox. So hopefully you won't lose too much of that with him gone. But I think that he's going to be a really good player. So I think the Kings have a really good future. I think the trade made a ton of sense and that Zach LaVine should fit, ideally seamlessly into this offense.
And he's only
And hope,
29 too, so he's still
yeah.
got a good 5+ years. Obviously, injuries kind of here and there, but
And
he's got the chemistry as well with
I saw
DeRozan.
a
So
number that the Kings are going to have about 21 million in salary cap too. So I mean, like they could bring another big time player, 1 year, $18 million, give it to someone that is an older guy that deserves it, that wants to come play with us, someone crazy. I don't know, figure something out, but that would be cool. If we could manage to do that and just make a run, maybe full run next season if we can't do it this season. But I do think, looking at our roster, I'm actually pretty proud of it. I feel like, compared to these last 15 years, this is something we can be proud of, going to games and watching these guys play. Personally, for me, I was a huge fan of when we picked up DeRozan. So Zach LaVine makes a ton of sense. Dude can fly. Like he fills a lot of that Fox void without necessarily having to bring the ball up. Like we can just switch off between him and Monk. They can just kind of figure it out. And then we still got Keon Ellis, who's probably going to be like in the running for 6th man of the year. Dude's probably a top 5 defender in the league right now. So I think that the Kings are pretty well set. They did a good job of getting the most that they could out of Fox on his way out. Unfortunately for the Bulls and I think the Spurs did well also. I think that pairing Fox with Wemby is a good move. I don't know how they're going to do with their vets. I don't think Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul are really a good fit. I think Chris Paul will probably go to the bench, and we'll see kind of then how they look. But they do have a couple really good young guys, so the Spurs are definitely looking up. They may have a shot to make the play-in. And then I think that, the Bulls are obviously going to struggle for a little bit. Vucevic may be on his way out here. I've heard that as well.
I think so, yeah.
Possible trade rumors for him. They could be looking to get a lot of picks, start rebuilding there. But yeah, overall, I just really love the trade for the Kings. I think Zach LaVine makes a ton of sense. And we got 6, 3 first rounds, 3 second rounds. Like I think that's just a ton of good moves from us. Monty did a great job. As soon as we can extend him, we need to, because this is the best we've looked in 15, 20 years. Now 20 years, I guess, really. So yeah, I'm excited for the Kings. I think they have a pretty exciting, move towards playoffs, and then kind of keep stacking these wins. I think Doug Christie's kind of done a good job of just bringing them back to the basics, playing good basketball, just moving the ball, setting screens, rolling, getting open, taking good shots. So I like the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about the Kings is that they don't have the best defenders outside of Keon. So I could see Keon starting. I know he's done that for a little while. If that's the case, then either DeMar or Zach LaVine will probably come off the bench. But I think that's good because that gives either one of them a chance to just shoot as many shots as they want, and that's what they're
Yeah.
coming in to do is go get 20. Levine
Keegan's
has
defense has actually really developed this year.
Keegan's been a
He's
good
done a
defender.
really good
He's
job.
he's obviously the best one on the team at playing defense. Monk, Levine, DeRozan,
Yeah.
Sabonis. You don't get the most defense out of them,
No.
but they're still
Yeah.
they're putting in effort since Christie got there, which is noticeable. Outside of Fox, I've loved when they're without him, they're 4-0, and in two of those games they held them to under 100. They've only done that four times all year. The other two were both against the Jazz, who suck. So
Yeah.
I've said it for a long time. I think they're better without Fox. They move the ball better. They play better defensively. I think they did a good job getting the haul that they have, setting themselves up with a good team now and for the future. I also think it was a great trade for the Spurs. I think in the areas that Darren lacks is like he's a ball hog in the fourth quarter, and people call it clutch. It's like no, he just doesn't pass the ball. I think that he's going to be able to get away with that in a pairing with Wembanyama because Wembanyama can grab a late deep three and no one
Yeah.
can block it, or he can grab a rebound and put back and like no one can
Yeah.
do anything
Put
about it.
backs. Yeah.
And then he's going to be made up for defensively by Stephon Castle being there. Like they didn't have to give him up. I think that was awesome for the Spurs. I was hoping for the Kings that they got him because that would have been big. He's a great defender. He's got a lot of talent on the offensive side as well when he gets to open up. I do think Harrison Barnes is still a good fit. He's got that connection with Fox already coming from the Kings. So I think that could be good. He's got the veteran presence, knowing a little bit more. Chris Paul's always helped a lot of teams develop, so he'll come off the bench, which he did with the Warriors. Um, he's winding down. He's 40, so it's time for
Yeah.
him to hang it up now too. But I think this will be a good year to wrap it up with the Spurs. I think they do have a good chance at, you said, making the play in. If they make the play in, all it takes is two games for the playoffs, and they're plus 480 right now to make the
Yeah.
playoffs. So I actually personally took that earlier today. I like that. I think that's a lot of good value for a team that has a good chance. You got the Timberwolves that are hit and miss. The Kings have been hit and miss. The Clippers surprisingly done pretty well. The Mavs are right there, who might make the jump up with the trade, or they could fall off. You never know. I doubt they fall off. Luka wasn't playing, and they still were floating at 500. Now they add AD. I think they will make some moves, but I think the Spurs is a lot of value there. Yeah, it was definitely a good trade. I mean, I think the Spurs could be dangerous for a couple years to come, having Castle, having a young Fox, having a young Wemby, and now you got other players that want to go to the Spurs, which we didn't see
Yeah.
that for a few years. So we might have another 10-year run of the Spurs, which we've already had every decade it seems for the last
Yeah.
30 years. So it'll be fun to see how that team develops. Definitely doing a good job of building a franchise and turning it around quickly already this year.
Yeah, no, I think that trade pretty much worked out for everybody. Obviously, the Kings got all those picks, so I'm really excited for that because if Monty can kind of keep drafting the way he's drafted with Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, Tyrese Halliburton, like we've drafted really well in the last few years. So I have faith that if we can keep good draft picks, get high at, even if some of these picks are higher up in the top 10, top 15, we could end up seeing really good players on the Kings. So I'm looking forward to that. Some of the other players that we were talking about, Caleb Martin did get swapped over for Quentin Grimes, so that's interesting. Just a quick little note on that.
Yeah, another Mavs
But
move. Get some more
yeah,
defense on the team from
I think
the
that
from
makes
the
a lot of
guard
sense for
play.
them.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, good.
And then kind of some rumors, not necessarily just something circling right now, is possibly KD to the Mavs. That would fill that another void for them, a scoring void that I think it could take a lot of the pressure off of Klay Thompson having to make shots, especially if KD's over there, having played with him already. Jimmy Butler, he's kind of up in the air still. We're kind of thinking he might go to the Suns to play with KD. If KD goes to the Mavs, how does that affect that? Might be a whole circle,
It's like
like
2 days to figure it
revolving
out.
thing in
So yeah,
itself. Yeah. So that would be kind of crazy.
Jimmy
Possibly
telling
the,
Jimmy telling the
yeah,
Grizzlies no and the Warriors no is something because I think it. I
yeah,
mean, I've been talking about it for a few days. I think Booker or KD gets traded, or if not one, maybe both of them. And I think the Mavs is the perfect spot for both of them. You put Booker next to Kyrie, that's an offensive
yeah,
and defensive
yeah,
punch, which is insane. You put KD next to AD, which we saw in the Olympics, they're phenomenal, and you still have a big and lively or Gafford that's versatile, athletic, defensive minded. And KD's just the perfect fit anywhere because he doesn't need the ball. He can play off ball and it's a bucket. Mavs
yeah,
have those pieces to give up because they still, yes, they got rid of Grimes, but they still kept Hardy, they kept Dinwiddie, they kept Clay, they kept PJ. They could pair all those up with some, picks for the future and get a KD and really go
Yeah.
all in on those 3 to 4 years that Nico's talking about. And I think they're going to. They have 2 days, see if they can find a suitor for it. If not, they do have a good team still. But
Yeah, they did just save a ton of money, so we'll see how that ends up going. Um, yeah, then pretty much other than that, just had the Pelicans, had Brandon Ingram, Zion maybe on the trade block. We'll see how
mm-hmm.
that goes. That'd be interesting to see if one of them. I'd love to see Brandon Ingram on the Kings. Like I would love to see that happen if we could somehow swoop him. We got $20 million in salary cap now, so we could extend him over the break if we want to. Figure out what we're doing with Zach LaVine as well. Warriors, obviously, we talked about them a little bit. They're calling
I
every
think Bi
single
goes to the
star.
Warriors.
Okay,
Yeah, I could see Bi. I could see
with
KD going.
Wiggins.
Yeah, I could see KD going back home. I think Wiggins would probably be traded in that for Bi.
Okay,
If not, I definitely
send
think
him over to the Pelicans.
yeah, something like that. But I think Zion would be a fun fit too if they got him. The Warriors need some sort of spark offensively. I thought they would have gone for Levine.
Yeah,
That obviously didn't happen there. So I think they need a Bi or someone who can go get a bucket outside of Steph.
yeah, for sure. They're calling everybody. That was kind of the main thing I saw. Is just Warriors are calling every All Star
Every
possible that they
single one.
can, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, Shams came out and said
Um,
that they called every single person that was an All Star and even players like PG that aren't All Stars anymore. It's just like
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it is pretty
I
crazy,
say
but it's the
they
Warriors,
I
right?
say
They
they trade
they
Steph and just tank for Cooper, like have a shot at Cooper Flag in 40 games, and then they got Moody Kuminga and a bunch of other young guys still. So we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Then we got possibly maybe Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant up in
Yeah,
Portland on the block.
I
Like
love
it would be cool
Anthony.
to see one. Maybe that would be a great fit for the Warriors. A little Jeremy Grant action for Wiggins, something like that. That would be kind of cool. Maybe somehow manage to get both, throw a pick in there. I don't know, like something like that.
Mhm.
Chris Middleton, maybe. Don't know if he's kind of
Yeah,
out there in trade talks. I know the Bucks are. They keep their cards close to their chest. I know they don't typically like to trade guys, but they do. Sometimes as time gets closer to the trade
I thought
deadline, I
about
think they
CJ.
they do make some moves.
I was kind of thinking they might trade CJ for Chris or something like that, just to put Dame
That
back
would
with
be cool.
CJ because I know Dame and CJ were good together with
That would
Lamarcus.
actually be really, really
So
interesting because CJ's having a really good year.
he's had 250
So
bombs. So I mean,
yeah,
like the guy's coming out of nowhere. It's like my boy Trey Murphy with another 41 piece last night. That's my guy.
yeah,
Love me some Trey. But yeah, with DeJounte going down, Trey's got to step up, let him develop, let Herb Jones develop, and just get rid of Bi, Zion, and CJ. In my opinion, I mean they got rid of
yeah.
Valanciunas last year, who was with the
They could get
Wizards.
so many picks with
Um,
that.
yeah,
So many.
yeah, they can
Like
go
they could
get
have
10
20
picks.
first round picks. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to see what they do. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to do anything. They have 2 days, and I haven't even heard noise.
Hmm.
They're not doing anything this year. I think they're at 12 wins. So it's like you might as well just tank and get rid of everyone. Let Herb
Yeah.
and Trey go play and figure out pieces to put around them later. But
Yeah. And
we'll
the
see.
last one I heard was possibly D'Lo. Obviously, just got traded from the Lakers over to Brooklyn. Um, I
Yeah,
don't think he's loving life there too much, so obviously he could be shifted around a little bit more. It'd be interesting to see what he'd get traded for because he's still a pretty good player. I still feel like D'Lo, when he's got his confidence, is one of the better guards in the league. So
I think he's happy with the
I'll
Nets,
see.
and we'll see. Cam Johnson, they've talked about possibly going to
True.
either the Cavs or the Thunder. I personally, as a Thunder fan, don't want it. I like our team. I think if anything, we got to trade 6 of our firsts to get
Yeah.
Giannis. Like in my opinion, we got to get something. I would trade Chet and 3 or 4 firsts for Giannis, or Chet and 3 firsts for LeBron or something. KD, something like
Yeah.
that. Like I think we need a big that's a vet that doesn't need the ball in his hands. Like
Shangoon.
well, we originally drafted him, and then we sent him to the Rockets on draft night. So
That's
I don't
right.
think the Rockets will do that. I do think KD could go to the Rockets. I think they've got a fun team. I think they could be a sleeper to trade for someone. They have Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore, Amon's been balling. Jabari hasn't even been
Yeah.
healthy. Alperin's missed some games. Fred Van Vliet, like they could definitely make a move. I don't know if they will. I like what Ime Udoka is got going on there. It's also plus 600 win coach of the year right now. It's second.
Oh yeah, that
It's
should.
second only to Atkinson with the Cavs, and they are slowly falling off. They've lost 3 of their last 8, and the Rockets are the 2 seed when no one really expected them to do well. I know we talked about it preseason that they were plus value to make the playoffs, which we liked, just because Ime Udoka is like top 3
Yeah,
coach in the
he's a
NBA.
great coach. Yeah.
And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Valanciunas and Kuzma and Brogdon, some pieces with the Wizards that I expect to be on the move, but haven't heard anything there. So definitely some pieces to keep an eye out for. I don't think the Hawks do much, but maybe Bogdanovich could be in a trade. I think he'd be a good six man for going back to the Kings or going to the Lakers or something like that. But,
Yeah,
um,
no, I think there's a lot of guys that could be on the move that will keep us definitely glued to our screens on trade deadline day. So yeah, let's do some Super Bowl talk. Got the Chiefs and the Eagles again. Obviously, yeah, this one pretty much sucks again, and obviously 98% of the U.S. is not very excited about this one. Um, but yeah, Chiefs Eagles again. I'm not really excited whatsoever, but I do think that in order for Saquon to finish off this in like probably the best season a running back has ever had in the history of the NFL, like I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Like I think this is the best season any running back's ever had in the history of the NFL. There were some really good ones by really good running backs back in the day, but they're not facing the level of competition that Saquon's facing. He's facing 390-pound D linemen that can run 4.6s and 4.5s. So I don't think they had that back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So I think this is by far the best running back season a running back's ever had. So I think in order for him to finish it off, he's got to go off against the Chiefs here. Um, I don't know how they're going to do it. I just really hope it happens. I hate saying that. I want the Eagles to win as a Cowboys fan, but it's just got to happen. Someone's got to slay the Chiefs and hopefully get them off their high horse for the next year as well, because I love that division going forward with Pete Carroll now at the Raiders. But yeah, no, I really just hope the Eagles can knock the Chiefs off. I don't think it's going to happen just because Patrick Mahomes is that good. He got to see firsthand losing to Brady in an AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, whatever it was,
yeah.
Super Bowl. And since then, he's just been undefeatable. So he got to taste that little bit of defeat, and I don't think that'll ever happen again. So we shall see. In order for it to happen in this game, Saquon's literally got to just take off every time he's got the ball. Now, it is possible because the Eagles' O line is incredible, but the Chiefs' D line is also incredible. So it just means it's going to be a massive battle in the trenches. But yeah, that's pretty much whoever runs the ball better and gives the other QB more time. I think that's who's going to win the game. Hopefully, the refs don't influence the game. I know everybody's kind of been talking about that. I don't think it's as serious as it's being made out to be. Obviously, like there is a lot of like really bad calls being made in these Chiefs games that are winning them games and turning the games around on third and fourth down. So yes, I do think it can be discussed, but I don't think it's necessarily on purpose. Like I don't think it's necessarily staged. I just think that it's just heat of the moment. Like I don't know why these guys are consistently getting it wrong against the Chiefs, but it needs to be looked at. I do think they'll sort it out. Hopefully, it doesn't happen in the Super Bowl because if it does, it would be a damn travesty.
That's what
But
ended the
yeah,
last Eagles Chiefs
yeah,
matchup was the holding.
yeah,
James
yeah.
Bradbury and
So
Juju got the call, but
yeah, so we shall see. They have DeAndre Hopkins now. He wants a Super Bowl real bad. I kind of want one for him, but I hate the Chiefs so much right now. So let's just let the Eagles get it and move on and go to next season because this sucks.
yeah, it's funny you said that. I was kind of torn on this game. I don't really have necessarily a pick. My preseason pick was obviously the Texans over the Eagles, and 2 years ago I had the Chiefs over the Eagles. So I assume it'll be Chiefs over the Eagles. However, I'm wearing green, which I didn't plan, but I mean that kind of tells me maybe we got the Eagles. Funny enough, you said D Hop because I took him. The first touchdown score is 34-1 for D Hop. I figured, hey,
Wow.
he hasn't really done much since getting there. They made a trade for him for a reason. He's going to want to make an impact on making a chance, his first chance and maybe last chance at a Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
I did take him. He's plus 650 at any time, which is like 14th among all players. So I'm not expecting a lot out of him. I hope it's a high scoring game, if anything, just to make it interesting for fans.
Yeah.
Um, it'll be interesting either way. I mean, I think it'll be a good game, probably back and forth. Eagles had them last time. I'll say that they were up 14 at half
Yeah.
or 10 at half, and then a couple penalties
Bottled.
there at the end, and
Yeah.
a fumble for six or whatever it was for Nick Bolton. Um, yeah, kind of turned the game around a little bit. But yeah, it should be a fun one. Not really looking forward to these two teams. I mean, I have my future on the Chiefs that I cashed out last week during the Bills game. I have my Eagles one still pending, considering cashing that one out. Which, if you tailed along, it's 20 for 260, and
Yeah.
offering me 110. So I mean, if you did the same thing, that's already 5, 6 times your money. Just trying it. We had the Eagles Rams, and Eagles knocked out the Rams. just one game early, and we talked about Texans Chiefs, and we said realistically Chiefs will probably win, but I'm gonna take the Texans because I'm rooting for them. And sure enough, that's what happened. Is Chiefs knocked out the
Yeah.
Texans again round early. So we were all over it this year. It's been a fun season, and I'm kind of
Yeah,
hoping
the
that
one thing we weren't on was, of course, we didn't expect the Chiefs to be as good with what they had lost. But
you know
obviously, the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. They still got Andy Reid. They still got that defense. They still got Spags. So
and they went and got
they're gonna
Juju.
be
They
there.
went and got D Hop, and even this
And
year
they
that
went and got some white and black stripes as well.
yeah, I mean 60 versus 53 every game. So just for that
Yeah.
reason alone, I will probably be rooting for the Eagles. And I mean, I like the Eagles players. I've been all over it. I love AJ Brown. He's been getting some crap, so I kind of hope he has a good game.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith was the Heisman winner in the biggest game of his life. At Alabama, he went for like 220 and three scores. I could see him popping off. Overall, should be a fun game. Uh,
And Jalen Hurts is such a humble dude. He really deserves
I
one,
love
to be
Jalen.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
we'll see how the line does. Eagles line has been banged up as of the last two games. It seems like they've lost everybody off the line, like one by one. They're going in and out, rotating. That's really
yeah.
their best shot at winning it is being able to continuously run the football. However, I will say the last time they matched up, Jalen Hurts went for 300 plus yards and five scores. And so I wouldn't put it past him to do it again. I think
Yeah.
he's ready for the moment. He was talking about the interview earlier, I think it was yesterday, about how it lit a fire under him losing to the Chiefs, especially on a controversial call last time and blowing a lead. So, as a Cowboy fan, let's go Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than that, that'll about wrap it up. If you guys haven't watched the TGL yet either, the Tiger Rory Golf League that's been going on, that's been super fun to watch. Really cool how they kind of mixed all the technology with playing the greens live and playing still hitting on the grass. And like, it's just, I love how everything's all working together. They got the guys mic'd up, they got music playing, they got crowd, pissing people off. So it's pretty fun to watch. I've been really enjoying that so far and getting a little bit more into golf as I age, which is, I'm sure, pretty normal.
Hey, Scotty's
But yeah,
back. That's all that matters.
yeah,
Just as a
yeah,
future, we'll throw it out there. I got Scotty plus 450 to win the Masters. My guy's back.
right on.
He might go win this weekend. I'm not taking it yet because it's only week two back. But first week back, he was already top nine with a minus
Yeah,
15, six off the lead, made himself a quick half mil.
yeah,
He's a beast. He's the best in the world. I
yeah,
think he's going to go get the Masters, which gives him, I think, 2 months. I think it's the beginning of April. But take that if you will. I think that's a
yeah.
beauty.
And then
Yeah.
Formula One testing, there's some in the end of February, and then I believe the first race is in the third week of March in Australia. So I'm super looking forward to that. Been a tough month so far off of Formula One, so about a month and a half to go, but I'm looking forward to getting this season started. Watching Max and Lando battle again, hopefully for a championship. Lewis Hamilton's going to be in a Ferrari for the first time in his career at 40 years old. So it's going to be super fun to watch. I'm sure that it's just going to be an absolute battle for everybody at the top. Kind of the way it ended up last year, where there was just five cars that were all just about the same speed. So I'm really looking forward to it this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully Max can win his fifth, but we shall see how the car
Beast.
does. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, a
yeah.
couple
Other
more
than that,
plays too. I got a couple
oh yeah,
futures. So I know I gave out Imo Udoka's plus 600 to win Coach of the Year. I love that right now. If it's not uh, Atkinson with the Cavs, it'll be him, I think. Why the Thunder coach Dagnall has not been mentioned, I could not tell you, but he's like sixth. Anyway, so it's
yeah.
not going to
He
happen.
should be mentioned what he's doing with that young team.
Yeah, especially 20 games, no Chet, 20 games, no Harkenstein. Anyway, that leads me to the MVP. So Shea's going to win it most likely. However, I do think if Jokic ends with 31, 14, 10 averages and they make it within 5 games of the Thunder, then they'll probably give it to Yoke, and he's a plus 430 right now. So there's value in it as opposed to the minus 600 Shea. I love six man of the year. The favorite is Peyton Pritchard. I don't like him. He started out the year really hot. Love Peyton, but he's fallen
Yeah,
off since then. He's averaging about 10, and his stats are down to 14 and a half. DeAndre Hunter's coming in averaging about 18 for the Hawks. I think he's going to continue to ball. He's starting to get some starting minutes with Jalen Johnson going down. He's averaging about almost 20 now. He's plus 340. So I took that. I love that. It's still plus 340 this today. I checked again. Amen
yeah. I love
Thompson.
that.
Amen Thompson
Eamon
is
Thompson.
right there at plus 700. So
Yeah,
if you like him, he's balling. The thing that worries me is he's getting more starting minutes like all the time. And if that continues, I don't know if he's going to be eligible for six man. If he is, that might make
true.
him the best bet at plus 700. But I definitely love both of those. Duke to win the NCAA tournament. I think they're the most complete team. They're plus 500 right now. Oilers are plus 700 to win hockey, and they made it to the championship and lost to the Panthers last year. I think Connor McDavid's going to go get it this year, and I believe.
He just got traded.
Did he?
Yeah, he just got traded to the Washington Capitals.
Oh, no way. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that happened like 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, dang. I missed it when I
Yeah.
was in Orlando, I guess.
Yeah.
Scratch that. We'll wait on the Oilers then because I love Connor.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe it was the Capitals, but I'm gonna double check real
I know the
quick.
Hurricanes made a move with Martin Necas. But anyway, yeah, like
Yeah, I believe
Ben.
he's playing with Ovechkin now.
Dang, that's crazy. I had no idea. But
Wait,
yeah,
let
outside
me
of
double
that,
check.
South Carolina women's is plus 180 right now to win it all. If they don't, it should be UCLA plus 700. I'll be rooting for UConn. They're plus 1500 for women's basketball. Um, yeah, outside of that, I mean, six six men
Oh,
of the year.
I guess he didn't get traded. What? Who got
I would
traded?
have been shocked. I'm like, that's their franchise right there.
I could have swore he
Um,
got traded. Did he not?
no, the Canes made a big move, um, which was two former number ones that got swapped. But yeah, anyway, some
Huh.
fun futures
Huh.
there. Yeah, I mean, Ime Udoka, you could take Yoke if
Huh.
you want. He's plus 430. DeAndre Hunter plus 340 is beauty. Duke, I like if Connor's still there. I like the Oilers plus 700. NBA, honestly, it could be anyone's game, but that future Western Conference Finals at 22 to 1 for the Mavs. I like it. I think it's worth at least sprinkling some money on. They obviously made it last year. They should be able to do it again. The Nuggets aren't deep enough. The Thunder are still too
Yeah.
young, and they've had the Thunder's number. I don't think the Rockets or Grizzlies are good enough yet, but we still have moves to make in possibly the next 2 days. So we'll see
I
what
think it was
happens.
someone on the Avalanche.
Yeah, it was probably the Avs and
I think it
Canes
was the Avs.
that
Someone from the
swapped
Avs
players,
got
but
sent somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so
So
some fun players to keep an eye on, and hopefully we'll be back next week with a little bit more update on those trades for the rest of the deadline by Thursday.
yeah, sounds good. And yeah, go Eagles and go Thunder.
Yep.
Go Kings.
All right. See you guys.
But yep, peace.